Hello and welcome to FDT-TV. My name is Ian and I am one half of the podcast. Now you can find this little excerpt from our latest podcast here now. If you want to watch the full thing, it is on YouTube or anywhere else where you consume podcasts in video and in audio. I hope you enjoy. I don't know if that makes us big or prestigious, but maybe that's something that we can discuss next.
We can.
What a segue,
Tenuous link.
So for those of you who may have not have already seen, last week we had a good discussion about what makes things a big club, and we sort of decided that big clubs and prestigious clubs are two different things. Both have their own merits. But Mike's been doing a bit more thinking about it. So give us a little bit of rundown of what your thinking is, and then maybe we can go a bit further with it in depth.
Yeah, no worries. So, obviously, as you just mentioned, we discussed the the differences between a big club and a prestigious club. Prestigious club comes with it history, attendances, form over the last couple of years, silverware, honours, all that sort of stuff. Whereas if you're a big club, you're consistently finishing within the top three, I think, is a fair judgment. Going far in European competitions, going far in club competitions, attendances, etc., etc.
Yep.
So on the back of that, we decided last week we would start looking into the current Premier League, who is a big club and who is a prestigious club.
Yep.
Now, just off the bat, so we're going on the current Premier League teams for this year. Obviously, we like to discuss all things Premier League. So, off the bat, I don't know what your thoughts are behind these. So, I have gone for these particular clubs as neither big nor prestigious.
Okay.
Now, obviously, this is an open forum. This is just my opinion. Obviously, if you've got your own comments, leave them down in the comment section below. If you're listening to us on YouTube, if you listen to us on one of the podcast mediums such as Spotify's, your Apple Podcasts, all that, head over to the YouTube channel, leave us a comment down below, and we will look to respond to your comments. So right off the bat, these are my opinions. So Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Southampton and Wolves, for me, neither prestigious nor a big club. Now, the reason why I have gone for those particular teams is having looked at their honours rolls, overall attendances. Now, obviously, some of these clubs do have history of being promoted from the Championship or Division 1, as it's well known. But I think for a team to be considered as a prestigious team, it needs to be recognitions at the top level within the last 10, 20 years. Is the criteria that I use.
Yep.
So that they are my thoughts. What are your thoughts on those particular clubs?
Yeah, there's a couple I would possibly add to that. I mean, I don't. The trouble is because obviously I'm a West Ham fan. Is a bit hard because I don't know the ins and outs of the history behind a lot of clubs, and I think you could probably make a case for every club if you go back far enough that but we're prestigious. But if I'm honest, Aston Villa for me, I would possibly add to that list, and same with Leicester. I know they won the Premier League a couple of years ago. And it's difficult because they won the FA Cup. So I think they're on the cusp of being a big club, or when you look back at it in 10 years' time, if they win another FA Cup or a League Cup, you could go, okay, they're starting to become prestigious. And the other one, Newcastle. It's a difficult one for me because I wouldn't say they're not, and this is a hard bit. They're not a big club currently under that criteria, but then they're not. They are sort of a prestigious club, but they're not a little club either. They're that sort of
no,
that stepping stone between, and that's the difficult thing of trying to draw a line in the sand. But no, I think for the whole, on the most part, you've probably hit the nail on the head there with most of those clubs.
Okay, I'll just touch on Aston Villa for me.
Yeah.
When doing the research for this, I would say they. I do well. In fact, I'll put it down to a few clubs that are for me within that middle ground.
Yep.
So Aston Villa, Everton.
Yep.
Leicester, obviously, as you mentioned, the recent success that they've had in the league, and obviously the FA Cup. Leeds.
Yep.
For me, again, within that middle ground, I suppose they would fall more into the prestigious than the not prestigious. But if you're looking in the shorter time period, I would say they are in that middle ground. Newcastle's definitely in there, and I suppose Nottingham Forest. I think all they have is history. Now they have got a massive fan base.
Yep.
Obviously the previous European success in the 80s, I believe it was. Just obviously been recently promoted back into the Premier League. So for me, those clubs were kind of on the cusp, and I do agree they are, or they do sit within that middle ground. And I would say that the only reason they fall into the prestigious category is because looking at their historic honours, which they've won and stuff. So I do agree with that. Yeah. Looking at the official, in fact, there is a subcategory that I also wanted to add in, which is kind of in between prestigious and big.
Okay.
And that West Ham in that, and it's the we are fucking massive.
That category. So, fair enough.
So if we then look at the prestigious side of things, Arsenal.
Yes.
We've got a massive fan base. Granted, we've had no top four finishes within the last 6 years, and which is why, based on the criteria that we spoke about last week, they couldn't fall into the big category.
Yep.
Although they have won 4 FA Cups within the last 4 years. Got to a couple of finals, so 2 Europa League finals, I think. Lost both of them to, I want to say, Villarreal and Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea. Yes.
So for me, I can't see us being a big club, but definitely prestigious. And obviously, we've got our history as well.
Yep.
Who else we got?
United.
Man United.
Yep.
I've gone for a prestigious. Again, you can't ignore the fact that they've won a shitload of trophies. But again, the last league success they had, I think, was 2011, 2012 or 2012, 2013. But they've not been seated at the top of the table in a good few number of years now. Obviously, we've seen changes to management. I think getting rid of Ollie last year was a bit of a stupid mistake. Just a crazy one for me. But again, for me, they are a prestigious club based on their history and their fan base. They're a worldwide brand. But because they've not had many honours within the last few years, I can't see them as a big club.
Yep. And what about the old, I'd say, Tottenham Hotspur? Because
this is a difficult.
They're not big.
Yeah. No.
They have a following. And they have a big stadium. That's granted. They haven't brought any success to that stadium yet. But when you look back at the 60s and 70s, they were winning everything on the back of trophy, on the back of trophy. So I think in that sense, you have to say they are a prestigious club, an old prestigious club at this rate. But I think you have to put them in that category.
Yeah, no, that's what I've written down, and it's literally just 2 words for Tottenham: prestigious and history.
Yeah.
Now,
Tottenham are the Liverpool of 5 years ago.
yes,
Sort of that living on sort of borrowed time and living in the past. We won this. Do you remember when we won that? They've not brought any success. This season might change, but don't know.
It does remain to be seen. Yeah. There was part of me that was thinking about putting them into that kind of middle ground.
Yep.
But you can't deny. I mean, they've had quite a few top 4 finishes within the last X number of years. They've been playing in the Champions League. They've got to a Champions League final, which is more than can be said for us within the last 20 years or so.
But no one remembers the runner-up, though, do they?
No, exactly. But no, so for me, I have put them down as a prestigious club. Now, getting into the big clubs.
Yeah.
So I will start with Chelsea.
Yep.
2 championships within the last 10 years, 4 European trophies, so 2 Champions Leagues and 2 Europa Leagues,
Yep.
and 2 FA Cups. Again, in terms of a global brand, there's no denying it. Obviously, they've just been bought for something stupid like 3 billion euros or 3 billion pounds or something.
Sow in history.
Yeah, so you can't really deny the fact that they are a big club. In terms of success within the Premier League, I think they've been there or thereabouts in terms of top 3 finishes. So the better of the top 6, if that makes sense. Because obviously the last few years has just been Liverpool and Man City. But yeah, I think Chelsea, you can't deny that they are a big club.
Yep.
Which then leads me on to the next one, Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the reason why I've gone for them as a big club, again, based on overall honours, so 19 Premier Leagues, 6 European Cups, 8 FA Cups, 9 League Cups. Some of those have come in recent times. Obviously, the current FA Cup winners, I believe, just also beating Manchester City at the weekend. In the Community Shield, they won the League Cup as well, which is, everyone knows that's Manchester City's trophy. Obviously won the league, not last year, the year before, in a COVID-ridden... no, sorry, not last year, the year before that, was it?
Yep.
Because I think City have won it twice on the bounce now.
I have,
So, yeah, it's... but in terms of recent success, they fit the criteria for their prestigious club. Mm-hmm. Massive following. They're all arseholes. I
think Liverpool are probably one of those. They're one of the only clubs who bridge the gap between big and prestigious at the moment. Because Chelsea have been big since 2003, 2004. And looking back at it, they're starting to become prestigious because of their history. And I think the Champions Leagues and the Europa League wins go a long way to making them prestigious. But I think you've got to have more than 20 years worth of history to be prestigious.
Yeah.
So I would put them in the big, but not necessarily big, but almost prestigious. Need about 15 different categories, didn't we?
Yeah. Subcategories, and then the last one we've got, obviously Manchester City. I'll put them as a big club. 6 Premier Leagues within the last 10 years, 3 times runners up within the last 10 years. I know they haven't hit the European competitions in terms of success that Liverpool and Chelsea have had, but in terms of, again, this is based on the criteria within the last 10, 20 years. You can't deny that they have been one of the best teams in the modern Premier League era.
Yeah, no.
So there we go.
Hit nail on the head there. And let us know in the comment section, as Mike said, if your opinion differs or if you think we've overlooked something. But we are talking Premier League. We're not talking sort of, because you could go back into the league and go, not Notts County are prestigious because they were the founding fathers of football, and you go, oh, fuck off. But